Hello, in this video I'm going to be going over some important settings I think you should consider looking at in the funny game Strinova. Let's get started. So here we are in the settings menu. We're going to start off under the basic tab. Now let me just preface with saying some of these settings, these are just going to be my recommendations. Some of these things are kind of personal preference, it doesn't really matter one way or the other. All that matters is that you are comfortable with these settings, but these are just some things I think you should change and consider. So we're going to start off with these settings first. So under the map, I've turned off center on player, minimap rotation is fixed, and then these are the sizes I have for the minimap. This is all just to make it so it's easier for me to, one, figure out where I am on the map, but more importantly, where my teammates are and where the enemies are, right? So for example, if you have the minimap zoom too low, like you have it more centered on where you are exactly, you're not going to get the full scope of the map. It's going to be a lot harder to figure out where the enemies are. As soon as anyone on your team has a line of sight on the enemy, they're going to pop up on the map. And it's going to be very important to be able to see that. This setting is kind of interesting because some of the maps, they don't really quite work right, okay? Particularly the escort maps, a lot of them, they'll be cut off because they're a lot bigger than the demolition maps. The settings I'm focusing on, they're going to be more geared towards the demolition mode, not necessarily the other modes. So just keep that in mind. These are some other settings that I think new players may not know about. I'm going to start off with turning off friend recommendation because otherwise, after every match, there's going to be a pop-up that shows up on the screen. It's going to be like, hey, you should add this person as a friend. And if you want that to stop, you gotta turn this one off. I think you should also take a look at the other privacy settings yourself. I'm not gonna go over them because they're mostly personal preference type things, but I figured I mentioned the friend recommendation one because that one can be quite annoying, but maybe that's just me. Controls. Now this one, again, a lot of this is gonna be personal preference, but I think some of the default controls kind of whack. So we're going to go over that. So the ones we're going to be changing, the ones we're going to be looking at here are, first off, the sprint. I put that on shift. I apologize. I don't remember what the default controls are. It's been a while. So I'm just going to tell you what I've changed, and then you can change that. That's how that's going to work. Okay. So putting sprint on left shift and turning off auto sprint. And this is because sound can actually be quite important in this game. And sprinting makes a lot of noise. Walking, a little less noise, and then walking in stringified mode, even less noise. You can still be heard. There's no way to like completely cut off your movement sound, but moving slower will definitely help that in some situations. And sprint mode, I have that on toggle just because it makes it easy for me to have my pinky free to do the stringified mode if I want to do that. Speaking of, the sidestep and glide is on left control. Again, I don't remember if that is on there by default. If it is, ignore this. Now for sidestepping mode, you want to put that on hold. I think this is on toggle by default for sure. And I'm going to show you why having this on hold instead of toggle is extremely important. We're going to go to the gun range to demonstrate that. Okay, so we're here at the range, and I'm going to show you why having sidestep on hold instead of toggle is very important. Okay, so I'm holding the sidestep button right now. Let's say this guy is also shooting at me, right? We're in a gunfight, pretty up close, and I want to, shoot back. Now, for the best safety, you want to be in stringified mode, right? Because one, harder to hit, and if you have the upgrade to take less damage, then, obviously important. Again, you two are in a fight, you want to do some pop shots. Now, while I'm holding the button to stringify, I'm just going to click and watch what happens. Okay, so it instantly went back into stringified mode as soon as I was done firing. That makes it a lot easier to fire back instead of staying in unstringified mode and shooting that way. Now you can shoot faster when you're not in string mode. So this is me spamming left click while holding the stringified button. And obviously your rate of fire is going to be a lot slower. So again, that depends on the situation, depends on the range, all that stuff. Especially depends on the character as well, because this is more important for characters with single shot rifles, single shot guns, as opposed to someone with automatic rifles. So again, if you're playing an automatic rifle character, this may not be that important. I mean, it still will be, but maybe not as much. So I'm just going to show you if I have it on toggle, this is going to be a lot harder to do. Okay, because every time you fire, you're going to have to press the button again. So see, it's a lot harder to do that maneuver with it on toggle instead of hold. So definitely recommend putting that on hold. So the next setting to look at is auto jump on wall stick. So what this does, here I'm going to turn it on for you. So what this does is when you're running up a wall and there's a ledge, if you keep running up, it'll automatically jump up for you. Now for me, I recommend turning this off because That way you can run up right to the edge of the wall and you won't accidentally jump up out of cover. Okay? Because again, maybe you want to just get right up to the wall, right up to the very edge, and you don't want to jump over. There may be a chance where you accidentally push it for a little too long and then you jump up and you're out of cover and you die. Okay? So again, leave that off. That way you can just run at the very top edge without worrying about it automatically jumping on you. Okay, so the next important group of settings is going to be under the combat settings. So here's all of the settings here for you. I'm going to kind of go over some of it. So yeah, shoulder fire, I believe, is by default on shift. I've moved that to the right click under shoulder fire / ADS. Shoulder fire mode is on hold. ADS is on toggle. Okay, so to explain, pressing and holding the right mouse button will bring the gun into shoulder aim. So you have like the free look, free aim, shoulder aim. That's holding the right mouse button. And then to go into ADS, I tap it. So I don't hold the button, I just tap right mouse button, and it brings up ADS. To me, this just makes it a lot easier, because before, on the default settings, I believe shift is aim down sight, and I would always get that confused. It would trip me up all the time. So I changed it to this, and this has been more comfortable for me. Also, I don't remember what button this is by default. I think it's like the tilde key. I'm not 100% sure. I might have changed that twice, but I have it on middle mouse button, and here's what that does. It just changes the magnification of the scope they're using. I don't tend to use this too much because most of the map sightlines aren't that far. Like, they don't really warrant using this, but you know, just in case, just for the heck of it, here's my sensitivity settings. Again, this is all personal preference, especially mouse sensitivity, but this is what I finally ended up with. And just to show you, here is what I use for the sensitivity settings. I have all my settings kind of on the lower end, just because it makes it easier for me to do finer adjustments, especially when aiming down sights. Crosshair, again, this one's definitely more of a personal preference type thing, but I'm going to kind of explain why I chose the settings that I did here. So the default crosshair color is red, and I changed it to green because by default, the enemy color is red, and same for the aim down sight color, that still stays red even if you change the crosshair color. Kind of annoying, but the best workaround that I have so far is making the enemies yellow and then my crosshair green, so it makes it kind of hard to miss. It doesn't really blend in at all to anything. And here's the settings for my crosshair, just so you can copy it if you want. And here's the screen settings. And again, this is definitely personal preference, but I try to strive for pretty much the highest frame rate possible, at least the frame rate that my monitor can do, which is 144. VSync off, high def UI off, pretty much everything at the lowest possible setting, except for color correction. I don't really know what this does, and I kept it at medium, haven't really had any problems. And I mean, even with the settings all low, I still think it looks fine. It's still pretty good. I don't know. And then for sound, I would recommend spatial audio on high, because again, audio can be pretty useful in this game, especially trying to figure out where players are. And here is my match interface settings. This is under basic. And like I said before, I have the enemy outline color on yellow. It's because I think that's one of the easier colors to pick out amongst most of the maps. And I believe that is about everything. Thank you for watching, guys. Hope this was helpful, useful, especially for newer players. Let me know if you have any questions about anything in the comments below, and I will try my best to answer them. I apologize for the kind of the lapse in videos lately. I've just been a little busy. You know, life happens. Let me know if you want to see more Strinova videos specifically. I have some ideas, but let me know what you think. Hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.